The UAS Operating Area, or UOA Planning Form, provides a simple and comprehensive means of reporting and establishing a UAS operating area. A reported UAS operating area is used by Leidos Flight Service to textually and graphically depict your UAS operating area to all users of Leidos Flight Service, either via phone or web briefings. This increases the understanding, awareness, and scope of the UAS operating area, thereby increasing safety in the National Airspace System. The management and establishing of UAS operating areas is done from the UAS planning page. The UAS planning page contains all information for creating and submitting UAS operating areas. Also from this page, you may access any currently active, pending, or past canceled UAS operating areas. You may select pending operating areas to amend their details, copy and create a new area, or cancel the pending activity. You also may select past UOAs, and like pending, may also copy and create a draft for a new area. The UOA draft form requires 4 different entries: the UAS ID, altitude, frequency, and schedule, and the operating area location. As a reminder, like other areas of the pilot web, all field titles may be hovered over or selected, providing help information for that specific field. The UAS ID is the name assigned to the specific UAS. The altitude fields allow for selections of MSL, or mean sea level, and AGL, or above ground level. Selecting MSL allows for the entries of a lower and upper altitude value in feet. AGL will default the lower value to the surface, or SFC, and then requires entry of an upper altitude value. The frequency and schedule fields allow for the entry of the time or times the UAS operating area will be active, for a single flight on a single day, or a flight spanning multiple days. Select one flight, and then enter the day or day range and the times of the activity. For a recurring activity, select recurring flight. Enter the first and last day, and then the days of the week of the activity, followed by the start and end times. For recurring activities, start and end times may be entered in local or UTC time, sunrise to sunset, or as a 24-hour constant activity during that date range. Finally, establish the operating area location. Operating area locations may be defined in one of 3 ways: a circular area, a non-circular area, or a line defined with a width. The circular operating area is defined as a center point of the activity and a radius of the area of the activity. The center point may be entered as a latitude-longitude, airport, heliport, nav aid, or a location defined by a fixed radial distance. Also, a street address may be entered by selecting the Address button. Once a street address has been entered, select Search, select the appropriate address, and click Select. The pilot web will then convert the street address to a latitude-longitude entry for use. The radius may be defined in nautical miles to the 10th of a mile. A non-circular operating area, or polygon, is defined by a set of points to make up the boundaries of a UAS operating area. These points may be defined as latitude-longitude, airports, heliports, nav aids, or fixed radial distances off a nav aid. Once complete, the system will join the last point to the first and create the shape. The line type operating area is defined by a set of points to define a line, and the nautical mile width of that line. The points used in the line may be latitude-longitudes, airports, heliports, nav aids, or fixed radial distance locations. Once the points making the line have been defined, the overall width of the line in nautical miles must be entered. The Map button may be used to display and verify the area entered. Optional information may now be entered. Contact information will load from the account user page. However, you may add or edit this as necessary. Additional information about the UAS operating area may be entered, such as a description of the flight or vehicle, and the pre-programmed contingency route may be entered if applicable. The lower right of the form contains entry details for submission of a NOTAM, or Notice to Airmen, in accordance with FAA and Certificate of Authorization requirements. This functionality and requirements are covered in the video linked in the NOTAM Service Information and Registration dialog, which allows for proper setup for UAS operators who wish to submit a NOTAM along with their unmanned operating area. Once all information has been entered, select Submit from the lower left. A location confirmation will generate so that the location may be checked. Select Submit to proceed, and your UAS operating area will be available to all users of the Leidos Flight Service and the pilot web.